In the cold dawn of January 1595, a new sultan rose and bathed his throne in blood. Mehmed III, a young prince turned ruthless ruler, ordered the execution of his 19 brothers in a single, horrifying night. What drives a man to slaughter his own kin? This is the dark saga of a sultan who chose power over family and paid a haunting price. The Ottoman Empire, by 1595, was a colossus spanning 3 continents, its sultans feared and revered. From Osman I to Suleiman the Magnificent, each ruler built a legacy of conquest and glory. But beneath the golden domes, cracks were forming. Cracks Mehmed III would widen with his own hands. Mehmed was born in 1566, son of Sultan Murad III. Raised in the quiet hills of Manisa, he was no warrior prince, just a scholar and poet, far from the throne's glare. His father's harem churned out dozens of sons, and Mehmed was just one face among many until fate called. In 1595, Murad III died, his body frail from years of excess. The empire held its breath. Succession was a battlefield. Mehmed, now 28, was summoned from Manisa. As he rode to Istanbul, he knew the throne was his, but only if he could hold it. Crowned in Topkapi Palace, Mehmed III took his place as the 13th Ottoman Sultan. Viziers bowed, cannons roared, and the city cheered. But behind the pomp, his eyes betrayed unease. Power came with a price, and he was ready to pay it in blood. For centuries, Ottoman law permitted fratricide, a grim tool to prevent civil war. A sultan's brothers, potential rivals, could be silenced. Most rulers used it sparingly. Mehmed III would wield it like a scythe, cutting down every threat in his path. That first night, Mehmed acted. He sent deaf-mute executioners, men who couldn't hear cries or repeat secrets, into the harem. 19 brothers, some still children, were strangled with silken cords. The palace awoke to wails, but Mehmed's orders were absolute. By morning, 19 coffins lined the courtyard, small, silent, damning. The court was stunned, even hardened viziers wept. Mehmed watched from above, his face a mask. He'd secured his rule, but at what cost to his soul? His brothers gone, Mehmed leaned on his mother, Safiye Sultan. A Venetian by birth, she'd clawed her way to power in the harem. Now, as valid sultan, she ruled through her son, her whispers louder than his commands. In 96, Mehmed sought glory beyond the palace. He led an army against the Habsburgs in Hungary. Keresztes, after days of carnage, he won a rare triumph. Yet the victory felt hollow. His soldiers saw a sultan who hid behind generals. Back home, the Janissaries stirred. These elite troops, once the empire's backbone, now demanded more pay, more power. Mehmed feared them, but lacked the will to act. The seeds of rebellion were sown. The empire's coffers bled dry. Wars, corruption, and Safiye's lavish gifts drained the treasury. Taxes rose, peasants starved, and whispers of discontent grew. Mehmed's throne rested on a crumbling foundation. While Mehmed faltered, the harem tightened its grip. Safiye and his wives vied for influence, their sons groomed as heirs. The sultan became a puppet, his will lost in a web of intrigue. By 1603, Mehmed's health failed. Plagued by fevers, some said guilt gnawed at him, others whispered poison from the harem. 37, he was a shadow of the man who'd taken the throne. On December 21, 1603, Mehmed III died. The palace mourned, or pretended to. His body was laid in Hagia Sophia, a tomb as quiet as his reign was troubled. The blood of 19 brothers followed him to the grave. His son, Ahmed I, took the throne at 13. Shaken by his father's deeds, he broke tradition, sparing his own brother, Mustafa. The age of fratricide ended, but its scars lingered. Mehmed's reign marked a turning point. The sultan's power waned. The harem and Janissaries rose. His victory at Keresztes faded, his fratricide endured. The empire he'd fought to secure began to unravel. History remembers Mehmed III not as a conqueror, but as a killer. Chroniclers called him weak, cruel, cursed. Was he a monster or a man molded by a merciless system? The truth lies buried with his brothers. Today, Mehmed's story haunts us still. Istanbul's bustling streets, his tomb stands quiet, a reminder of power's cost. His name whispers through time, a sultan who traded blood for a crown, and found it heavier than gold. Mehmed III ruled for 8 years, but his legacy is one night, one act that stained an empire. Was it strength or madness? For centuries later, we judge him not by his throne, but by the graves he left behind. This was the Sultan who killed his own blood.